Mr. Young and Foreign.
Kick to the gut.
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 Kick to the gut. Kick to the gut. Kick to the gut.
Hey, Kick to the Gut.
Kick to the gut.
Kick to the Gut podcast.
Kick to the gut podcast.
Kick to the gut.
Your podcast sucks.
Yo, how's it going, man? It's Mr. Young.
And it's Foreign in the building. Did you miss us? Did you miss us last week?
Yeah, we decided to take a bit of a break because, first of all, it was my birthday and I had plans.
Happy birthday, Mr. Young. Hope you
Thank you.
enjoyed all the congratulations from all listeners.
Oh, absolutely, certainly did. And thank you so much for reaching out on Instagram, wishing me a happy birthday and all that. Bro, when is your birthday? When do we get to wish Foreign in the building a happy birthday?
Okay, just know that Foreign and Halloween will be forever tied because my birthday is always on Halloween weekend.
Are you serious? Okay, wait, so it's 31st October.
No, it's 29 October. But I mean, close enough.
2 days before Halloween.
Yeah. So anytime got Halloween Havoc, you know, that one is my birthday as well.
That one is Foreign Havoc, bro.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for being here as we do this a little bit different today. We're actually recording this on a Saturday afternoon because our usual time slot Monday afternoon, even though this is going out premiering live on YouTube, we are not actually there because we have stuff to do on Monday.
But don't worry. I might be one of the bots on the live chat.
Okay, yeah.
So even if you want to interact and all that, I will be online, so you can reply to whatever you guys want to see. So, but please join us. As of now, please comment. Show your comments.
Absolutely. And as always, if you haven't already, hey, drop us a like and a follow on our social media, on Instagram, on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. And of course, if you're listening to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, like an OG, like the OG that you are, well, thank you. We appreciate it.
And of course, this is a great day to be recording the podcast. This is actually a great week. We're gonna go right into the big announcement. But before that, bro, there is a reason why I am wearing this shirt.
You're wearing a Hitman shirt. That's right. As we record this on a Saturday, today is July the 3rd, which is the Hitman Bret Hart's birthday.
Happy birthday. He's turning 64, bro.
Ooh.
Mind blown.
Still the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Actually, interestingly enough, WWE social media put out like a poll type thing where it's like, okay, you choose the dream match. Which Bret Hart of which era versus which other wrestler in what kind of match? So I'm like, just looking at these potential matchups, like for example, heel Bret Hart, the Canada versus US Bret Hart versus Kurt Angle. In a 2 out of 3 falls match, like whoa.
Wow.
Or how about Bret Hart versus Seth Rollins, prime Seth Rollins, like ooh.
Oh, there's a lot of great matches. Okay, I have one particular match that I would love to watch, and it's a very not really an obscure match, but people wouldn't think of it straight away.
Yep.
Bret Hart versus Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
2014 Daniel Bryan, like really peak yes movement.
Right.
And I feel like that one will be, you know why? It will remind me of a new generation Owen Hart getting to fight Bret Hart.
That's true. How about Bret Hart versus like super powered Brock Lesnar? Like I would like to see how Bret Hart, like, being the tactician that he is, tries to pull that off.
Yeah, I mean, has Bret Hart fought anyone similar to Brock Lesnar?
I mean, there's no other Brock Lesnar, not in his era, unfortunately. But like you talk about like the big guys, like Vader, maybe, or
Kevin Nash,
Yokozuna.
Yeah. But knowing Bret Hart, like he will be super cerebral. He'll probably chop him down to size. Yeah. He probably won't let him do suplex city. Can you imagine all the counters that Bret Hart can come up with for the suplex, back suplex?
Aye. Exactly right. Oh, I feel like we should go back and watch some Bret Hart matches a little bit later on.
I mean, in his honor, I hope you guys will find some time, those listening in, to catch a Bret Hart match. Some of his classics, like against Stone Cold, WrestleMania 13, his Owen Hart opening match at WrestleMania X. Yep. So many, bro.
Absolutely. But in the meantime, of course, today we want to jump in on something very special that has happened. And the Singapore wrestling scene is abuzz right now. Because, okay, we've talked about it before. I mean, we saw him, we caught a glimpse of him as he appeared as Ted DiBiase's bodyguard security
Yes.
guy. And, you know, we had an inkling already when he lost his loser leaves SPW match. It was like, okay, really? Is he really leaving? Why? There must be something is up, right? But nothing was confirmed. He couldn't say anything, you know, until it was official. And now it's been made official. It doesn't get any more official than the WWE NXT Instagram page itself. Boom! Right there. Check that out.
Hey, I know that guy. What's up?
So handsome, this one. Let me read you what this says, by the way, if you haven't seen the post. Sean Tan comes to the WWE Performance Center from Singapore, where he competed under the name Trexxus. He's 25, bro. So young.
Bro.
The 25-year-old is a former Singapore Pro Wrestling Southeast Asia champion.
Nice. We gotta give props to the promotion that groomed him. Singapore Pro Wrestling SPW. We have one of our boys, one of our own countrymen being in WWE. How amazing is that? Can you ever imagine, bro, Mr. Young, in your entire lifetime, will you see a Singaporean signed to the WWE?
I mean, it's the dream, isn't it? And like all these dreams, right? It just takes one to pave the road. And I mean, let's not forget who paved the road, who started this whole journey for Singapore Pro Wrestling in the first place. If not for a statement, there might not have been a Trexxus. You know what I mean? Without a Trexxus, who knows, you know, what the future holds. We might see more. I mean, not to put the pressure on him right now, right? But the whole nation, well, the pro wrestling fans anyway, are looking at him going, oh, it is exciting times, but a little, I don't want to say it was dampened down a bit, but it is what it is. Like, internet is full of trolls, right? If you look at the post itself, there are a lot of like, quote unquote, oh, well, you know, WWE won't know how to push them. Oh, they'll be released within 2 years. Oh, this shit, that shit, you know? Typical haters and trolls.
You brought up a very good point, like, because you did mention you know, people like Statement, people like Dharma the Destroyer coming to Sean's defense, Trexxus's defense, and you know, telling the people to be like more positive. Like, you can't just bag on them. They have worked damn hard to even get their foot in the door. I think it's great to give them a chance. I mean, we all know, like, us being long-time WWE fans, long-suffering WWE fans, we always wish like, okay, why you release this person? Why you sign this person and you release this person? But you have to understand, this is a different scenario. This is a different context. They are not like replacing all the wrestlers that has been released. They are always on the lookout. WWE is always on the lookout for fresh blood, and they are being signed on as developmental talent. You know what I mean? They're gonna go through the system. They're gonna learn. They're gonna try to improve. There's nothing to say that, you know, this is WWE signing them on a whim and then wanting to release them straight after.
Bro, you know what this is? This is just people with nothing but disappointment in their lives, and so they project the disappointment onto other things. Like, just because they pay for the WWE network or whatever it is, they think that, oh, I can have my say. Oh, you know, blah blah blah. I know all about the like, yo, chill. It's like going into a marriage thinking about the divorce before the marriage has even started. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like you said, these are developmental deals. And here's the thing, right? Let's go back to this Instagram post real quick. So, okay, they announced three Asian, 3 Chinese wrestlers. So I think this lady is the one who is super into CrossFit.
Yes.
And then we got Trexxus, and then this Liu Kang lookalike.
There's this one comment that I saw saying that this guy looked like the actor from Mulan, one of the soldiers.
No, the what's his name already? Like the general that trains Mulan. I know what you mean.
He certainly looks like some Han Dynasty warrior. I think he looks pretty tall and huge.
6'2", 242 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, that, of course, the tendency for everyone is to say like, okay, wait, let's all jump on their bandwagon. All them gonna join Saya Lee and Boa and be part of Tensha.
No. People were messaging me like, do you think they'll join? I'm like, I fucking pray they don't. Like, to be honest, I see the hesitation when it comes to these talents, because the propensity is to put them in some, you know, stereotypical group and have them do stereotypically, quote unquote, Southeast Asian or Chinese things, right?
Yeah.
That being said as well, let me very quickly touch on the whole, like, there were a few racist comments in the, you know, comments as well. So I'm just hoping that it doesn't bog them down. It doesn't get to them, you know, because it can be quite disappointing, you know.
But for for someone like Trexxus, I think all he needs to do is just look at the comments from Singaporeans, because we do not know about these trolls, because I don't think they are Singaporean. But obviously, this breaking news has been picked up by Channel News Asia, which definitely gave a lot of exposure and coverage about what just happened. And I happened to be yesterday when the news broke. I was actually on the Grab on the way to training.
Yep.
And then I happened the Grab driver happened to be switching on 91.3 FM, one of the radio stations, right?
Terrible station.
Yeah. What?
I'm kidding.
Mr. Young, okay, I will not get involved in your radio feuds, but anyway.
I have to stick with mine, okay? Power 98 all the way. And let me quickly mention, all these news outlets only picking this shit up now. I broke it on the Power Breakfast show weeks before when Trexxus showed up as Ted DiBiase security guy. I was singing the praises. I already like, yo, the dudes in the WWE, he showed up on TV. So just for the record, I don't want to say I was the first to break it, but I was the first to break it. So there you go. Anyway, back to you. Yes, go.
Bro, the real kick to the gut, long-time listeners know that when it comes to breaking news and like getting in the know, I think, the kick to the gut boys know the shit. Before anyone else.
We know this shit. And here's the thing. I think we've always said this as well. Like, Trexxus had like one of the highest potentials to make it, and look where he is now.
Are you saying, Mr. Young, if any local wrestler gets Mr. Young and Foreign seal of approval first, high chances they might make it to WWE? Is that what you're trying to say?
I shall neither confirm nor deny.
Okay. Back to my story. I didn't tell you this story. So when I was in the Grab, and then it just so happened to be that particular radio segment.
Yeah.
They were talking about the news, and then they actually did like some sort of like interaction with their audience and say, they were asking out like a WhatsApp blast. Can you guys send in what local named wrestling finisher should Sean make into his own finisher, right? Obviously, us following him for a long time, we know some of his signature moves. The standing surfboard elbow drop from the corner, which is always a highlight. His running power bomb, which is one of his finishers. So we know what he does as Trexxus. But they were trying to come out with like their own local team, right? So there was a couple of names that I just wrote it down because I was like laughing at it.
Yeah.
Prata Pal Driver.
Oh God, no.
5 Crescent Frog Splash.
5-star.
Yeah, I mean like 5-star Crescent. I mean, okay, I give it to them. Then, okay, and then the okay, this one sounds very potentially racist. But the fish curry clothesline.
Oh, what? Okay, I'm sorry, but I don't know if you noticed, I fucking rolled my eyes so hard when you mentioned that was the question they asked, okay? I know to the mainstream people who are not like really hardcore wrestling fans, or even they might be just from the Attitude Era type fans, right? This shit is like, what's the finishing move? Like, when I heard those examples, I roll my eyes even more, because it's like, okay, this just sounds dumb. That's the last thing I want for a wrestler like Trexxus. I don't want him to be put into this, what is he going to do? The Chendol splash or the fucking chicken rice drop? Like, no, man, come on.
I need to give you one more name and your final big roll of your eyes.
Okay, go for it.
You ready? Somebody actually said this on air. The PAP Power Slam.
Okay. I get it. It's all funny and everything. None of that shit will matter in the WWE. Nobody will get those references.
It won't translate to an American audience.
1000%. And here's the other thing also, like when all these news outlets put it on their Facebook page, right? I also read the comments, and it's the same thing. Like, I mean, there is your fair share of like supportive people, which is great, right? And then there are the dumb fucks who are like, oh, he can do the prata bomb, and like making comments like that. I'm like, wow.
You know what's the next biggest, next rated comment I always keep seeing popping up?
What's that?
So when is Kurt Tay gonna join WWE after that?
Oh, okay. Like, see, that to me, it makes the wrestling fan look like a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. But people like that make us look like assholes.
Bro, but I would dare say they are not actually wrestling fans. I think they are the lapsed fans, the casuals who have know nothing about WWE currently. they are just making like all these like Singlish kind of stuff. Because this is what I call mothership humor.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, call me atas, but to me it makes me roll. I roll my eyes. So I'm like the internet wrestling community version right now of commenters. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Oh, lame, yeah. I
Mr.
cannot.
Young is basically Jim Cornette at this point.
Yeah. Both in wrestling and in like, you know, other real life stuff, huh?
Yeah, sure. But I think what I like about it is just seeing all the different types of perspectives coming out of the woodwork. Obviously, you have like the long time, like really in the know local wrestling fans, people who follow SPW, follow Grapple Max.
Yep.
They know about Trexxus' career, they know his talent, so they are all in, no pun intended, on, you know, Trexxus trying to make his mark in WWE.
Yeah.
Of course, then there will be the people who are like the bandwagoners who are like, okay, wow, Singaporean successful, wow, make it WWE, wow, follow your dream, that kind of shit. But these are the same people that wouldn't give a shit about him.
Exactly.
the only reason why he knows about it is because they really on Chinese Asia kind of shit, right?
Well,
so that one, that is fine, because I feel like, okay, good to know that at least there is some locals who respect the fact that he's making in their sport. The ones that I have an issue with, right, and like you say, they do not understand how hard it took for him to actually even be in this position, like how historic that moment is, and actually appreciate for the fact that it is not like, oh, this one can make it, man, this one can fight WWE. I don't think he can challenge Stone Cold or
The
Raw,
Raw,
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of people who I would say they don't truly understand the gravity of this news, like how historic it is.
Well, you know, that's the thing, right? A lot of people just see things on the surface. And I think you and I, all of us are guilty of it, especially in a genre we are not familiar with. You know, we can't expect everybody out there to know the history of pro wrestling, right?
Yep.
The same way we don't know the history of whatever it is, whatever topic that we don't know of. But I think that in a lot of ways, we need to be a little bit more open-minded, and hopefully we'll get to talk to him once he, you know, settles in and stuff like that, and then we'll find out a little bit more about the journey. But as it is, like, we've had interviews with him before. Go back to our, you know, previous podcast, right? We did one with just him. We did one with him and Statement. We did one with him, Statement, and Alexis Lee, right? Like the journey
right after the tryouts.
After the tryouts, yes. Go back and revisit that and just get that perspective of, you know, like the road that they have taken thus far. Let's see. I feel like that should be the story that gets told, so that people understand. So but hopefully that stuff is to come.
I mean, if anyone really needs to take a look at his career and the kind of path that he's gone through, just check out some of our previous episodes. Check out like right after he faced Kenny Omega in that 6-man match. Him starting out with Statement, having all his feud part of Onslaught. That like the entire journey, there is documentation, and it is through this podcast as well. So I feel that this is not new news for people who really bother to find out the information, but it is something that all of us can be proud of. And credit to Trexxus. This is not us trying to take like you know, other people that just want to take his success, just be part of the shine and glory. All that hard work, it was all within himself. He was the one that put in that hard work, and we had to learn to, we gotta appreciate and respect that. And I think as Singaporeans, and you talk about patriotism and loyalty and that kind of stuff, this is the time where we can unite as a nation. Especially, I know this sounds very like, rara pro NDP shit, right? But we can unite as a nation to really get ourselves behind him and support him. You know what's the craziest thing?
What's that?
TNA, when they posted that on his on the Instagram talking about Shonta and that kind of stuff, right? They never even tag him on Instagram.
Oh, is it?
They just write his name on caption, and then they are like, they put credit SPW, WWE, NXT. I was literally like, what? Why nobody is tagging him in this? Okay, never mind. I wrote down in the caption, okay, guys, please follow and send your some love and support to Trexxus, and I actually tag his Instagram. Because that's what he needs now. He needs the entire nation to be behind him and to know that they are there with him all the way.
He needs to feel the love.
I can just feel the love.
Oh God, okay. Anyway, so obviously this is the start of his journey, right? Him being at the WWE Performance Center. Where he takes this is entirely up to him. It's entirely up to his trainers, where they groom him, what they think he's gonna be doing. So it'll be a few more months before we actually see anything. Maybe even a year, 2 years, who knows? Some of these guys and gals, they train for a very long time, right? But to pivot from that, and okay, one more side note, I wonder if SPW has any plans now that, restrictions are lifting, like they need to jump on this bandwagon and put out content. You know what I mean? Like people are, okay, there's an SPW, there's a Singapore Pro Wrestling. They need to be out there making noise. So hopefully they capitalize on this.
And based on our recent conversation with Statement, when we talk about what's going to happen next after this going forward, right? There's some new talent coming in. Obviously, we want to keep an eye on them. We want to try to spotlight them here on the podcast, but we need to be able to see what kind of content comes out, right?
Exactly.
So we really hope, we really pray before the end of the year, we need some live wrestling back in Singapore.
Yes, at some point, huh? Okay, in the meantime, though, and with the signing of Trexxus and quite a few other Chinese superstars, right? Then the question becomes, and it kind of leads back into some of these comments like, will WWE know what to do with them? Because if you look at the WWE, and okay, don't get us wrong, this is not let's shit on the WWE and look at how poor they've represented Asians in the past. But the truth is, they haven't really represented.
They have represented us very poorly in the past.
Right?
The point, right?
They really do have. We threw out a poll on our Instagram, and we asked the question, like, when you think of Asians in the WWE, who do you think of, right? Mm-hmm. And again, not surprisingly, a lot of the answers are Japanese stars because, the Japanese pro wrestling scene is huge, and they are the ones that are always being poached from the North American companies.
Yeah, but I would say that this is actually only a recent phenomenon. Like, if you think about it, over the last 5-6 years, when New Japan has started to come back into prominence, not that it was never out of prominence, but in the US, their eyes only started getting back to New Japan once like Bullet Club started getting big, Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, right? If you think about it, before that, in the Attitude Era, you can only count on one hand the number of Asian talent. Before that, in the New Generation Era, I think you would know people like Hakushi, like literally like one hand,
or two,
one or two. So I'm saying that it was a rarity actually that Asians were to make it there, and even if they were to make it there, they wouldn't have had world championship prominence.
They at best, the first one I can think of, like talking about the golden era, right? Ricky Steamboat. He was like the only sort of Asian looking fella. And he was at a decently high status, like, the Intercontinental Champion and whatnot, right? Growing up, I was like, okay, like there's one guy that kind of looks like me.
Is he Hawaiian? If I'm not wrong?
Yeah, I believe he is Hawaiian. But, he is of Asian descent, I guess. So
you know what? He really looked like a bit of like a Asian, Asian karate kid, like almost, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think for me, like growing up, that was the only Asian face in WWE. Then after that, it was like Mr. Fuji. They were always caricatures. Like they were the evil foreigners. They were the heels, right?
Yep, correct. That's true.
And like you brought out Hakushi, who had a feud with Bret Hart for quite a while. I can't remember if he won the championship off of Bret Hart.
He, if I'm not wrong, he only managed to challenge him at most like at a In Your House event, somewhere in King of the Ring. But his run also wasn't that long, even though I would say that his look was very memorable. Yeah,
because he had like the tattoos, quote unquote, the Japanese kanji all over his body, right? Yeah, I remember him looking very, very cool.
Didn't Tensai try to copy that look and fail?
Well, Tensai freaking not Asian. Anyway, that's not the point, right? So, when we look at the poll that we did, a lot of Japanese names come to mind. Not surprisingly, Asuka being probably the biggest one. She's like a legit main title holder.
Yep.
Funaki, SmackDown #1 announcer, shows up a lot. But here's the thing, he was funny. Like, to a lot of us, we enjoyed his stuff, but he was a joke character, a caricature. Because of his poor command of English.
But of course, if you can't mention Funaki, you'll be remiss to not mention Kaentai.
Takamichinoku, yes.
We had some of the OGs, of course, Dick Togo,
yes.
Yes, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but all the choppy PP people
Yeah, but you see, those were like, choppy your PP. That's a very, like, I don't think that could fly in 2021. Tajiri.
Of course. Oh, and now you know what? I would consider Tajiri, right? Almost like a unicorn, bro. He's that very rare personality that not only thrived in ECW, that's where he first got his start in the US, right? Which was like the legendary ECW run.
Yeah.
Then after that, he made it. Didn't he go WCW after that?
I can't
And then
remember.
I think he did a run in WCW, and then because of the invasion, he got brought over to WWE. So if you think about like a Asian guy who actually like made the rounds through all those big three promotions, I would dare say he had world wide fame because of his his exploits in WWE. He was a cruiserweight champion. He had the entire Green Mist going for him. I I remember his feuds. Not say his feuds, like his interactions with Tori Wilson.
Oh gosh.
Do you remember all those times?
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is he is one of the most visible Asian faces during one of wrestling's hottest eras.
But okay, other than Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, can you think of an Asian wrestler who didn't eventually become some sort of weird comic relief character?
And the very sad thing is, I wish I could say no. I wish I could say there was one person that I thought would have broken that mold. But obviously, if you've been watching SmackDown recently, he is now reduced to a king.
Reduced to a king, huh? Even
Kingsuke Nakamura.
yeah, like. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, he was a badass coming out of the gate. He won Royal Rumble and all that, right? And then now he's just kind of like, he's just doing the whole headbanging thing. Like, I don't know what's going on. Here's another example. Jimmy Wang Yang.
Jimmy Wang Yang, wasn't he like...
The Asian
like,
cowboy.
Yeah, before that, he had that one small run as like Akio and Sanada.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes. Okay, another main event title holder, let's not forget, from India. Well, I mean, technically he's Canadian, but he's of Indian descent, so I guess Asian, right? Yep. Jinder Mahal. Don't hinder the Jinder, bro.
Bro, Jinder Mahal, if nobody knows who he is, right, and you just look at him for the first time on TV, yes, okay, that guy looks like world championship. He has nothing else, bro. He has shaped his body into world title contention. But I would say he was not the biggest Indian star that has ever come out of India, right?
Oh, of course not. Like, this guy legitimately came out of India. Because of him, we have the Punjabi prison match, the Great Khali.
Okay, for a good 6 months, right, bro? Great Khali actually was legitimately one of the scariest superstars to ever debut on WWE. He actually took out freaking Undertaker in his debut match, bro. Like, I mean, doesn't get bigger than that.
But the thing with the Great Khali, yes, he's huge, he's imposing, but like a lot of these freakishly large men of that era, it was just about the look. When you saw them in the ring, it was like,
the hype went out really quick, by then.
The chop looked so... The best thing he could have done was to do the head squeeze. You remember the one he did on Rey Mysterio?
Yeah, and the blood started spurting out. Yeah, that was actually pretty intimidating. One thing, though, you have to give credit for, and of course, Great Khali, a recent WWE Hall of Famer, he brought a lot of eyes from India to WWE. And until now, I will tell anyone who thinks like Great Khali is like, doesn't contribute anything to the business. You freaking YouTube Great Khali, right?
Yeah.
His videos on the WWE channel are routinely the highest viewed videos in WWE.
Hello, how many millions and millions of views from India itself? You know what I mean? So yeah, I thought 100% I get it. And I think you'd be stupid. You'd be very myopic and narrow-minded to think that, Great Khali hasn't contributed anything. The amount of money that the WWE makes, and now that they're bringing all these Chinese wrestlers, what do you think the WWE is trying to do? I mean, come on, look at how many billion people. That's a lot of money to be made right there. Yeah. You'd be stupid to think there isn't going to be a Chinese main event superstar at some point.
If you think, right, that it just puts the Sean or Trexxus's historic signing even to a bigger perspective.
Yes.
WWE is going all around the world, looking at all these huge countries like China and India with all their billions and billions of population. And the one that got signed in Asia, out of two Chinese people, got one Singaporean in Trexxus.
Yeah.
How amazing is that?
And okay, you know what? I don't know how the other two that just got signed, how they sound, because I haven't heard them on interviews. But I feel like the potential for Trexxus to make it big is and can be very large because he speaks well. It's not like Boa who can't speak English properly or Xia Li. Like it's tough to listen to them. You know what I mean? And I think the big problem with the WWE presentation of like your Japanese wrestlers, a lot of the time, like you can't speak. Yeah, they can't speak, and it's hard to convey emotions and stuff like that when they're trying to tell a story. And most of the time, they just give up and just make them do funny actions. You know, oh, they're Asian, they're weird, they do funny things. You know, that's sort of very stereotypical throwback. So.
And if you think about it, if you look at Trexxus and of course how he carries himself, how he speaks, right? You know, he comes across as a well-polished guy. I can imagine him in the future once he, you know, brushes up his promo and does it the WWE style. I can see him going toe-to-toe with somebody like, obviously, like Cameron Grimes in him in the segment. Like, he can actually act off of them. And it doesn't come across as like cheap.
Bro, he already had lines in his debut on NXT, okay? Some of the other security guards didn't even say shit. He already, Mr. DiBiase is waiting for you in the ring. I'm like, hey.
Bro, you know the other, okay, so there's 3 people that got signed, right? And then the third guy that look like the Mulan soldier guy. If you watch NXT in your house, that exact money ladder match between Cameron Grimes and LA Knight, the security guards that was following Ted DiBiase, actually that's him.
Who, the Mulan guy?
Yeah, the Mulan guy.
Oh, I didn't notice.
He was carrying the briefcase in the glass case.
So not bad, like they're giving them all a little taste of it. Like here, give you a taste, you be security guys.
Yeah, but your exact point, he didn't have any lines. It was him just carrying the thing.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's great. I love how, right, probably like if somebody on YouTube should do a video on 10 wrestlers who started off as bodyguards and turned out to become wrestling superstars.
Oh, I think there are videos like that. Like,
I'm sure.
Like with, you know, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, they all started as like random girls in the background, that kind of shit, and then now they are superstars. So
who remembers that iconic that video of Samoa Joe shoving MJF to the side? Remember that?
Yeah, and now MJF is a legit star. So there you go. So just putting that into perspective, the possibilities, I don't want to, like we say, we don't want to put too much pressure. It's just, you know, early days, but the potential is there. He speaks well. And he can speak Chinese, I'm sure. So if they ever like do promo in China, stuff like that, right? Yo, Trexxus is your guy.
Yeah, and also one thing that, I mean, obviously us from a Singaporean perspective, we're very proud of him as a Singaporean. But one thing that actually has kind of slipped through the cracks is the fact that he's also the first Southeast Asian wrestler to make it in the WWE.
Right.
Yeah, so because this point was brought up to me because I was talking to Jason, who follows us on Instagram. He's one of the guys who is from Brunei and listens in on the podcast. And this news of Trexxus going to WWE made it on Borneo newspapers as well in Brunei. So I mean this is just for this region, it's a win, you know.
Yeah, and it's a huge thing, and we all know that the pro wrestling scene in this region as well is, if you think of before the freaking pandemic, and like it was really thriving, it was growing, right? So it's exciting times. Let me read some of the other comments here from our Insta poll, right? So we mentioned, and thank you very much for dropping your comments in, by the way. I won't read everybody's name, but okay, we got Kairi Sane is another one.
Yes, Kairi Sane for sure.
Tajiri Shinsuke, Io Shirai, there you go. Zeta Zhang, not really in the WWE.
Yeah, of course, MLW, which is also, I mean, quite a significant company in the US.
It was her birthday on July the 1st, by the way. Happy birthday, Zeta Zhang, former guest on the show.
Of course, we'll give a shout out to Zeta Zhang as well. Happy birthday to you.
A lot of Asuka and Funaki references. Let's see. Yes, Tajiri, Jinder. Don't hinder the Jinder.
Obviously somebody, I think, I can't remember whether anybody mentioned him. But for a while, Kenta in WWE.
Oh, Hideo Itami.
Obviously, that was a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is, I think WWE, if they are smart, right? They want to go for Asian talent, right? There's only a couple of countries that I think speaks English really, really well in Asia. A Hong Kong guy.
Yeah.
Probably. Those Korean American guys.
Yeah. No, that's why I'm surprised why they don't, like Zeta Zhang, for example, right? She is Chinese, but she grew up in the US, so she speaks very well. So like, why did they, like, I feel like they want somebody from China who speaks Chinese fluently, because ultimately you need them to do the promo in China lah.
And that's one of the things, if you remember our interview with Zeta Zhang, she mentioned, right? Because she said that she felt like almost like unwanted because she even though she has a Chinese face, she sounds like an American, and that can't, obviously as an American sounding person, that wouldn't appeal to Chinese people. She didn't grow up speaking in Mandarin. She had to learn that, you know. So I guess she was handicapped in that sense. Of course, if you think about it, Gail Kim should be the voice of Korea, right? Because she got a Korean face, but obviously that didn't work out.
But she's not like, I mean, she's of Korean descent, but she didn't grow up in Korea, right? She's like American.
Korean American, yeah.
So I feel bad for the ABCs, you know, in that sense. Like, okay, they're just doing this for the connection, you know, but can you speak in your native tongue? If you cannot, then okay, we won't use you as that quote unquote marketing tool, that gateway into that country, that subcontinent and whatnot.
Yeah. You know what? If you talk about like paving the road in Southeast Asia, obviously I would love to have not just a Singaporean wrestler make it in WWE. I would love a Singaporean wrestler to be in Japan, right? New Japan. That's also one of the possible routes that they can go to. In terms of the next superstars that I think can make it on a bigger stage, I think the very first guy who was our guest for season 4, he has a huge potential to go there to the States, right? Shaukat.
Oh, right.
Shaukat, his connection with Booker T is one, which he said that once the pandemic opens up, he wants to go to Reality of Wrestling, training under Booker T. So I feel like I said, Trexxus is a spark that might ignite this new wave. So then WWE will realize that they don't just have to rely on Japanese wrestlers or Chinese wrestlers. They already have the avenue from Middle Eastern wrestlers with Mansoor. That's one. There's also another great, of course, area. But Southeast Asia could be this hidden gem that WWE is like, a lot of these people here actually speak English. They just need the right look. They just need the right story. Why not?
That being said, I hope that and okay, like NXT is they are not as bad as the main roster in terms of you know, like catering to stereotypes.
Of course.
So let's just hope that, you know, Shawn impresses Triple H and HBK, lets him do his own thing, brings his character to life, and we'll see where it goes lah. But yeah, it's exciting times, yo.
To tie a bow on this, there was this one comment that Trexxus replied back to me when I sent my congrats on his Instagram. He said, "Thanks, foreign thoroughbred, huh? ? Horse emoji."
Oh, hey, he's always called himself Sean Stallion also. Maybe he'll be Sean Stallion, the thoroughbred.
But I mean, obviously, Matt Riddle might have the stallion thing taken.
Stallion,
but you know what? Thoroughbred, Trexxus, I think there's something there. There's something that can be used.
I don't know if he'll use or he'll be allowed to use his Trexxus name, because you know how it is, right? WWE will own the name, whatever they come up with. So, you know, I don't know if he wants to sign that name over to the WWE. Then he could never wrestle as Trexxus in Singapore.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, having to explain what is Trexxus and where it come from, I mean, that might be an issue.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? I feel like whatever gimmick ideas that we wanted to give Trexxus, right? We already gave it on a previous episode.
Yeah.
So if you ever need ideas, bro, just refer to our previous podcast. Never know.
Yeah. That being said, congratulations, Sean. Congratulations, Trexxus. Can't wait to see your debut.
Yeah, man. And of course, keep flying the Singapore flag high. Keep to the gut, will do whatever it takes, you know, to promote the local scene here in Singapore. And hopefully, as our listeners grow and more people know about wrestling in Singapore, we can just point them to like, okay, you like wrestling, right? There, go look at that. We got a Singapore wrestler right now. Bro,
fast forward 3 years later, debuting newest member of Tien Sha, because you know apparently Tien Sha is going to last 3 years. No, I really hope not. I really hope not.
Crazy Rich Asian, bro. Crazy Rich Asian.
Let's go, bro. That might not be relevant in 2-3 years.
When Crazy Rich Asian 2 comes out, who knows?
Maybe. All right. That being said, let's move on to the WWE and AEW and their plans for the next couple of weeks, because they're going back on the road.
Yes, finally, right? So obviously fans will come back in WWE for Money in the Bank, but AEW just had their final show in Jacksonville. Obviously, this past week's Dynamite, the blow-off between MJF and Sammy Guevara. And next week, they're coming back under the name Road Rager, AEW Dynamite Road Rager. So,
and coincidentally enough, NXT also has a themed show.
What's new?
It's funny, like why are they doing this? Like, okay, I get that theme show gives people like excitement, like, oh, it's something different, right? But they always seem to know when each other is doing it and they do it at the same time.
So who is countering who? That's the question.
That's the question, you know? So
the question.
Did they plan for the Great American Bash on NXT before Road Rager or after Road Rager?
But to be fair, they have done Great American Bash last year, two nights. So the fact that this is just going to be a continued tradition, I guess going forward during the summer.
Is this year's Great American Bash 1 or 2 nights? That's the question.
No, it's just one night. So it's just on the Tuesday night in US time. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like, you know, where this leads. Like we said, if anything, it just gives them an excuse to do more fun stuff. It generates interest in what I feel like a kind of holding pattern state in the past few months. But now that they're going back on the road, okay, expect to see more fireworks, more like moments for us to talk about.
What I really, really want, I mean, obviously the developmental and AEW, I feel like they have reached a certain standard where I can at least expect something to happen on their shows. You know, like it won't just be like on cruise control. But what I really hope with the fans coming back, like Raw starts to step up. You know, SmackDown has been on a great level, but I just hope just with the fans coming back, they will just put in more effort in the storylines. I want to look forward to Monday Night Raw again. So give me a reason to, guys.
I mean, I feel the same way about AEW Dynamite. Like, there was a few months where I was super interested, and then it's kind of petered off already. So hopefully going on the road will give them that injection they need. So, okay, speaking of SmackDown, let's very quickly mention Zelena Vega is back.
Yes, Zelena Vega, which is actually kind of a surprise.
Yeah, even though Aleister Black is gone, so I'm like, oh.
I mean, some AEW fans were hoping that, you know, she low-key joins, you know, El Idolo Andrade over in AEW. So I guess the fact that she's coming back, I hope it's a sign that Aleister Black might get picked up back again. Yeah,
I think that it would be a mistake for them to let Aleister Black go. Like, the potential he has is crazy. You know? Okay, so do we want to talk about NXT or do we want to talk about AEW first? Because NXT's Great American Bash will come first, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. But I mean, of course, I would love to like wrap up about things that happened in AEW and NXT this past week as well. Of course, the big blow off was between MJF and Sammy Guevara, right? And I did mention to you off air a bit. There was this one very stupid spot. I mean, the match overall was great. You know, it was a great challenge between two young up and coming AEW stars. But there was this one spot that pissed the heck out of me, man.
Yeah,
it's just a spit in the face. There was this at the end of the match, nearing the end of the match, MJF had Sammy Guevara in a tombstone pile driver position on the second rope at the turnbuckle. That is like a spike tombstone, like ultimate finisher, right?
Yeah.
He did that, right? And that didn't end the match. It was a kick out at 2, and Sammy Guevara got up like probably like 10 seconds later.
You know, like that's a fuck you to the WWE. They seem to love to do that shit over there in the Outlaw Mud shows. I mean, I think someone like JR would have probably rolled his eyes.
Oh, bro, do you hear what happened to JR on this past week's episode?
Okay, look. I mean, we need to give the guy credit. First of all, he's a veteran. That's my nice way of saying he's old as fuck. You know, but these sort of mistakes do happen. He worked for WWE for how many years? The fact that, you know, he hasn't done it more is actually a surprise to me. Like, I've almost said my past radio station, like, you know, before on air live. When you're live in the moment, here's the thing, right? A lot of people who don't do broadcasts, they don't realize that it's not easy when the mic is on, when you're just going off at it. Like, you know, people who don't talk for a living, they don't get it. Like, if you've done something repeatedly over and over and over again for years, like he said, WWE Championship, WWE pay-per-view, WWE event, so many times, at some point, it'll just come back to you like that. And then he blurts it out.
And of course, obviously he has made a few errors over the course of the last few years in AEW. The only thing that was a bit, I find the humor in it because, right, it was literally his last line before it went off air.
Yeah.
Because they played a whole video package about their time in Jacksonville, and he literally was saying, "Okay, guys, see you next week on the road for WWE Dynamite." And he went off air like right after that. So it's like he almost made it through the entire show.
Without talking up. Yeah, but like I said, as someone in the broadcast line, it happens. So I don't think we should be too hard on JR. You know, it's not easy.
I understand shit happens, and of course, I think another great thing about AEW right now, I can see the shifts somehow happening. They're really starting to push their young stars as like more to the forefront. So like Jungle Boy starting to get a huge rub. Of course, post his Kenny Omega victory, he just won his 50th victory, 50th match in AEW. So that's a very cool statistic. First ever in AEW.
Yeah. Well, it means nothing because more like 48 of those matches were on dark against some jobber.
I'm pretty sure. And of course, your favorite guy, Darby Allin.
Oh God, yeah.
Darby Allin is challenging Ethan Page in a coffin match.
Yeah.
So that is, of course, an interesting feud. They have the Sting connection there as well, continuing with that. And MJF and
okay, hang on. We got a bit of a lag situation. So okay, you're gonna have to repeat what you just said about MJF.
Yeah. Can you hear me now, brother? Yeah. So yes, MJF and Sammy Guevara, of course, headlining most of the shows.
Yeah. To be honest, after the big Stampede match, I was like, I'm kind of done with the Inner Circle versus the Pineapple.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And now that they're having their little like mini feuds, I'm like, okay, I can skip lah. Like I feel like they've done this entire thing completely ass backwards, and I'm kind of done with it.
We've talked about it a lot.
In the same way that I feel the same about Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, in that they already had their big like no holds barred match. So why do I care about a regular wrestling match? But it's not as bad because it hasn't been dragged out that long. But I've already seen the blow off. Why do I want to see a rehash?
Yeah. Let's switch over to NXT then. I'm actually very curious to hear your thoughts on this new faction that just debuted, Diamond Mine.
Okay lah. We'll have to give them some time lah. Because Roddy, Messiah of the Backbreaker, I guess it fits like, this like quote unquote elite MMA-ish type group. I don't like, are they supposed to be MMA people or what?
Okay, obviously Roddy as the main veteran guy is interesting, but also problematic because wasn't he like the most like least charismatic guy in Undisputed Era, and now he's like the main faction leader.
Yeah, well, Bobby Fish had the mustache. That was the most memorable thing about him. So, let's be honest lah. Undisputed Era was Adam Cole, baby.
Yes, definitely. And of course, a certain section of the fans love Kyle O'Reilly for his guitar playing skills. But yeah, that's the thing. Like I just find Diamond Mine, I was a bit hyped for it. And then when the 4 people revealed themselves, I'm like, this is like the most random group of people ever.
It's like, who? Like, who are the other 3? Like, okay, Malcolm Piven. Like, okay, who is this Malcolm Piven guy? Like, he has... I don't know if it's because NXT just has nothing for him, but he's shown up as a manager for Indoshare for about 3 weeks, and then no more Indoshare. Then he became the manager of Tyler Russ, and he would show up once every 2 weeks. It's like the most inconsistent manager. Like I have no idea who he is.
Yeah, you know who is a much more cooler and charismatic faction?
Who?
Hit Row.
Oh, Hit Row. But here's the thing: Hit Row, they are highlighting every single week.
Yes, and okay, obviously the big news coming out for Hit Row is we have a new North American champion,
Isaiah Swerve Scott. Yes, so Bronson Reed. The big question is, and there are rumors right from the dirt sheets that they really like his look. They want him for SmackDown. Could he be going up to the main roster? And let me just say this really quickly: I don't think he's ready. I barely know his character in NXT, and if NXT hasn't really gotten him over to that point, the main roster is not gonna fucking do it. We all know that.
And also, there's one big problem if he were to be part of the main roster.
Yeah,
there's already Otis. Otis is doing whatever that he can do, and he's more recognizable name. You know what I mean?
Otis shaving, becoming like it works. I like the
bro.
look.
Okay, if you've seen SmackDown recently, bro, he's been like killing it. He's been doing a lot of Vader bombs. I keep looking at his face, right, bro? He really looks like a young Vader, bro.
Hey,
Put him in the fucking mask and the strap. He look like he can
Vader.
be Vader 2.0,
Yeah.
bro.
So it's so weird that it took Chad Gable being his mentor to all of a sudden, give us this side. And then
At least there's no more blue collar working man. You know, at least.
And at least he's playing into his past as well. Like he talks about losing his girlfriend, Mandy Rose, and all that. Like that's what made the change happen. It's like, okay, at least he's rolling with this, rolling with the punches, weaving his past into this current storyline.
Yeah, I mean, after the crazy high of a 2020 that he had, and losing Mandy Rose, losing his tag team partner, he would spiral down into this no nonsense guy. I mean, if I lost my girlfriend, I'd probably shave my head and shave my non-beard and become a badass.
Yeah. So. No, he also lost the Money in the Bank. Let's not forget that.
Yes, he lost that opportunity. So he had a shitty end of the year. I mean, that would be a reason for a catalyst in a change of character. So I think that makes sense storyline wise.
So there is quote unquote long-term storyline. I don't know how much of it was him just retconning, going back and trying to explain the turn. You know what I mean? I don't think this was planned. Okay, next year we are gonna have you as a heel. No. It was like, okay, let's make use of what happened and then incorporate that into my story now.
Yeah. And speaking of big badass, looking men, how awesome has Samoa Joe been on NXT? I mean, I was trying to do a segue there, but
the
how
enforcer.
awesome has he been, bro?
Very good, very good, very good. And it's a weird thing because he's quite obviously a face enforcer. Like he will help the good guys, but he will purposely fuck the bad guys.
Yeah, I really like that scene on NXT where, of course, Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole was having their fight, and then Kyle O'Reilly put Adam Cole in his submission, right?
Yeah.
And Samoa Joe just walk away.
Yeah, he's just like, okay, whatever, and then he fuck off.
Yeah. Serve you right. Did you see the article that I sent you, bro?
Which one?
Or I didn't send you. I think I just put it on Instagram. That Samoa Joe did. He did a podcast and then he talked about how he loves putting AJ Styles in a coquina clutch.
Because of the smell of his hair.
Yeah, because he got lavender. Yeah. Lavender scents.
You know he's just fucking around lah.
I know, but it's okay. You know why it's so funny, bro?
What?
Because here you have the most straight-laced traditional Christian Southern man in AJ Styles, who's like a fucking good goody two shoes, and then got this one Samoa Joe making very sus comments about
they are like best of friends probably from their TNA days, so
they'll probably make him pop lah.
Okay, so that being said, let's move on to the preview of Great American Bash as well as Road Rager. Let's talk about Great American Bash first, okay?
Yes.
So because that's coming up on NXT. So far on the card there are 4 matches. Let's run them through and see what we're excited about, what we're not. LA Knight, the $1 million champion, versus Cameron Grimes to the moon for the $1 million championship. So okay, the $1 million championship is actually going to be on the line here.
Nice. I like the fact that I guess $1 million championship is an active title that is being fought over.
Yeah.
Already much better than the FTR championship. Really.
Oh yeah, not FTW you mean?
Oh, FTW, yes, sorry.
Yeah, no, FTR doesn't have their own fucking title. But okay, LA Knight, Cameron Grimes, this whole thing spawned off the $1 Million Man. Honestly, I feel like there's only one winner here because there's another stipulation. If Cameron Grimes loses, he has to be LA Knight's butler.
That actually might be interesting to watch.
Yeah, no, you know what? That's why, based on that stipulation, I'm like, Cameron Grimes is 100% going to lose. Because Cameron Grimes is a character and we are going to make him as humiliated as possible so that the audience will be even more behind Cameron Grimes. But more importantly, because I feel like the audience is already behind Cameron Grimes. He has the charisma. They need to pile the heat on LA Knight because even though he's an annoying, obnoxious shit, it's starting to be go away heat for me. I'm like, every time he comes out, he says the right things, but to me it's like, okay, whatever.
Just doesn't connect, right?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, he's just being a dick, but nothing special about it.
One thing I like about Cameron Grimes, right? He is thriving as a character in this era on WWE where it's all about sports-based athletes,
Well, I mean, Cameron Grimes is an athlete. Make no mistake about it. He can handle himself in the ring. I think that's what got him there in the first place, you know. And then you have that hairy chest with it's a very different look as well. So it's this combination of everything, and he is 100% into his character. And we've talked about this before. If you're not 100% bought into your own character, people are going to be able to tell, and you're not going to come off as authentic.
Yeah, and in the sea of, you can actually, LA Knight, as as chiseled as he is, as loudmouth as he is, you can name 5 other guys who kind of have the same LA Knight vibe.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But Cameron Grimes, you throw a stone, you can only literally find one of a kind in the way Cameron Grimes carries himself. And that makes him unique. That makes him something that needs to be spotlighted consistently.
And that's why LA Knight needed the $1 Million Championship, and he needs to win this so that he can be the biggest tool bag to Cameron Grimes. Actually, exactly what $1 Million Man used to do to Virgil. Like, abuse him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that people will finally be like, oh, fuck you, you're such a terrible person. And then when Cameron Grimes, like, to me, Cameron Grimes is the star of this feud. But as the feud goes on, you need to be elevating LA Knight to that position of, like, getting more heat. Oh, he's such a terrible person. And I still don't feel it there. He's just an irritating heel. That's it.
Yeah. So I guess at the end of the day, we know where the story is going to go to. And I think what's the thing that will make people want to look forward to it is my favorite things. All the weird ass segments that's going to happen afterwards. All the conniving that's going to happen, all the shit that's going to be thrown at, and how he's going to overcome. I mean, we've seen this story a lot, but it never fails. It always does well.
And thankfully, you have, like I said, a guy who's so committed to his gimmick that it will work because he's so committed to the gimmick.
Yeah.
Like how Matt Hardy was completely 100% committed to the broken stuff back in TNA, Yeah.
I just thought of something very random. But I guess there is some connection to this situation with Cameron Grimes. One of my favorite characters in the Ruthless Aggression era, very underrated actually, if you think about it.
Okay.
Eugene.
Oh, no. Yeah. Well, I mean, not only was he quote unquote misused, but that shit won't fly in this era.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to point out is the fact that obviously he's not a special needs kid, right?
Yeah, no, he's not.
But the fact that he committed to that role so well, and then they make the entire big swerve when The Rock asked him who is his favorite wrestler, and he said it was Triple H.
Yeah.
Actually, they got a crazy ass pop because people actually laugh at that.
Yeah.
And then the entire storyline, if you remember, leading up to SummerSlam, where Triple H and Evolution befriended Eugene, and then of course William Regal was very sus and that kind of stuff, and Triple H tried to play mind games and turn Eugene against William Regal. And then when William Regal got beat, and you have to remember, William Regal, when he got hired to be Eugene's handler, he was a heel.
Yeah.
But they effectively turned him babyface because of him being protective of Eugene, and he got beaten up and all that kind of that babyface sympathy created such a big wave of support for Eugene that by the time SummerSlam came along, people actually was actively rooting for Eugene to beat Triple H.
Yeah.
And if you follow just that small timeline, right, that was WWE doing great execution in turning somebody into a beloved babyface.
Yeah, but like I said, doing it via questionable means in terms of using our sympathy for a character like that, right? And also at the end of the day, like I have to wonder, as a wrestler, right, if you get approached for a gimmick like that, you're like, that there's the ceiling is very low. You can never be Eugene and headline a WrestleMania. You can never be a Muhammad Hassan and type character and headline a WrestleMania. This is a short-term gimmick, right? Like, how are you gonna come back and get repackaged?
I would call this like a meteorite gimmick, where it was gonna burn as bright as possible and then just gonna burn out.
Yeah. So it's a very risky type of gimmick. So I don't know if everyone has the stomach for it, lah.
But I do have to admit, at one time when I was playing Raw vs SmackDown 2005 or I guess 2004, where Eugene was in the roster, right? I love choosing him as a character. You know why, right, bro?
Why?
Because he could do all of his favorite wrestlers' finishing moves, and it's part of his moveset.
Oh, so he has everybody's finisher?
Yeah, literally. So his entire moveset, he got Stone Cold Stunner, he got Rock Bottom, he can do leg drop. Wow, bro, shooks like he's like a OP character.
Okay, on the topic of committing to what you're doing, right? I don't know why, but that's exactly what I thought when I watched Fast and Furious 9. Have you watched FF9?
Yes, bro. I've watched F9.
F9, bro. From the first 10 minutes of the movie, my wife and I were laughing our asses off. Okay? This is a clear fucking example of, they're like, you know what? This is outrageous shit, and we're just gonna commit to it. And we know you came here to see some complete bullshit, but you love this shit, and you're gonna enjoy it, and we are going to be unabashedly proud of it. And you know what? It works.
Same as you, bro. I watched it with my girlfriend, and the moment, right, bro?
Yeah.
The moment that Vin Diesel managed to drive a truck out of the side of the cliff and crash into a flying plane.
Yeah. Like, fuck lah.
Yeah, I look at my wife. Not my wife, sorry.
Yo,
I look at my girlfriend. Did I just give a spoiler there? I'm not married yet, by the way. I look at my girlfriend. I look at her. She looked at me. She said, "This is a Bollywood movie." You know how over the top Bollywood action movies are, right?
Yes.
This is basically a Hollywood Bollywood movie. And okay. As a wrestling fan, let's talk about certain things that I can appreciate. Okay? I can appreciate the fact that they managed to cast a very good young Vin Diesel. I don't know whether you agree with this or not.
Yes, he really fit the mold lah.
He actually really got the Vin Diesel character and vibe down pat. But this gave a fans who have been screaming for a John Cena heel turn.
Oh God!
Finally, some sort of catharsis to see John Cena as a bad guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, no spoilers, but okay, his role or his acting, his lines were quite limited, and I just have to say that's a good thing because he's not there yet. Okay, I'm sure he's taking acting classes and stuff like that, but yeah, he's no Batista, he's no Rock, hell, he's no Edge, like.
Yeah.
Ooh, I always remember. Did you watch Bumblebee the movie?
Yes, I did.
Wow, his acting was wow. He was
just playing an over the top like soldier character, right?
Actually, he just does better in comedy roles.
Because if he is as a comedy, right, he got that very like. He got this very deadpan humor, right? You know how he does. He talks and shit, right?
Yeah. I think in comedy he can be self-aware, but no, he's trying to be that guy, and you can tell he's acting. You know the difference between like someone who's acting and someone who is just that character.
Yeah lah. When you watch The Mist in all his Marine movies lah, you know lah.
That's why I don't watch The Marine, bro.
Okay. What I like about John Cena, I feel that he channeled a bit of his intimidating mean aura. Yeah. And like you said, the less words that he said, the more he did his action do the talking. I thought he was pretty menacing as a villain.
Yes.
My favorite thing that he did in the movie, if you remember was the first introduction to him when they had that fight in like the jungle area, and it's like just literally like his first entrance. He stepped out of the car, and the silhouette, the camera panned out to his big ass biceps and his body. Then I was like, everyone's like, yep, damn, what a man, what a man.
I'm just a little bit upset that I mean they were going all out with it, right? So why not throw in a meme? Why not have him say "You can't see me"?
Oh yeah, or when he walking away, right? Like when like maybe he did some crazy ass thing, and then like Vin Diesel's like on the floor like dying, then he just walk away. He like,
like no, don't do it. Make it too obvious, or just like or just sneak the line in, like when they're having their dialogue. It's like, you can't see me, and then walk away. You know, that would have been.
Didn't The Rock inserted one time rock bottom? In one of the movie scenes
on Jason Statham, he rock bottom Jason. Like, dude, the wrestling fan in me popped hard. I was like, yeah, he did a rock bottom. You know. So, like, I don't expect him to fucking do an. Well, actually, you can do an AA. What? It's a legit, like, in a fight, you just put someone over your shoulder and throw them down. Why not? Right?
Yeah, that would be cool. But I think I like the fact that I think obviously they are keeping no spoilers, right? But they are keeping John Cena in the movie going forward. We just need a Rock and John Cena showdown.
Oh my God.
In Fast and Furious 10 just to make all the wrestling fans happy.
Yeah, well, and make everybody happy, because like I can't remember if they are going to wrap up the Fast and Furious series at 10 or 11, but they are going to wrap it up soon. So the last movie has to have every motherfucker that has ever been in the movie show up.
Yeah, if I'm not wrong, they're gonna do Fast 10, but it's gonna be in 2 parts. like Avengers.
Okay. So there you go. So maybe that's how they'll bring everybody in. You know.
And you know, it's not just gonna be The Rock. Just not gonna be John Cena, bro. One time Roman Reigns lah. He's also part of the universe, really. Right?
Yeah. He was in Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, he's part of the family for Hobbs, what?
If I can bring in Batista also lah.
Yeah, fuck it lah.
Just have them triple threat match one time.
Yeah, one time Undertaker come. Why as well, bro? Basically, Fast and Furious, right? I think all the characters just need to come up, make an appearance at WrestleMania, lah. I mean,
yeah.
Why not, right? Vin Diesel should just come to WrestleMania all these days.
Okay, so but back to the point though. It's like the series, the franchise knows what it's about, and they don't give a fuck. They're like, logic be damned. As long as, like, do you see the memes now?
Yes.
The what? But family, like, don't mess with family. Everything is like, don't mess. Like, what the fuck are you doing in space, Dom? You mess with family. Don't mess with family.
Yeah, of course, family. Like, what do you call it? Vin Diesel flies a truck, blah, 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 and after that, why? Oh, because family.
Yeah, like family is the answer to everything. Anyway, go watch F9. You'll definitely enjoy it. Just don't think too hard. Just immerse yourself. It's like, you know what? It's like playing GTA.
Yeah. I mean, if you were to see on screen, right, a car flying up into space and crashing into a satellite to save the world, and just don't think too much. Just enjoy that visual.
Yeah. It's ridiculous nonsense, but you know, we can just all enjoy it.
I love how, right, after all that shit happened, right, they just end up having like a barbecue to end the day.
But that's spoiler alert. But then again, that's what happens at the end of every single Fast and Furious movie. So you should expect that shit.
No, it reminds me of like an episode of like watching Justice League, the cartoon series.
Oh.
Like, after the end of a big mission, everyone like regroups and like back in their base and like celebrate.
Make jokes. That kind of thing.
So
hey bro, we become movie podcast.
Bro, we are doing everything nowadays, bro.
Yeah, no, it's all relevant because at the end of the day, NXT, WWE, AEW, pro wrestling is what? It's entertainment. You know what I mean?
It's not family.
Well, it is the McMahon family.
It's all about family.
And the Khan family apparently is the other one. Anyway, okay. LA Knight, Cameron Grimes. Let's move on. The Way versus Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. So it's quite obvious what they're trying to do. They're trying to promote Zoe Stark by having Io Shirai tagged onto her. And then Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. It's weird. The Dexter Lumis stuff has sort of faded into the background. What's going on with Dexter Lumis?
I haven't seen Dexter Lumis on this week's episode as well.
No, yeah. So
I don't know. But the thing is, I like Zoe Stark. What do you think of Zoe Stark?
Yeah, like obviously right now she's super fresh meat baby face. So that's it for her. Like, she's this young, up and coming, plucky, talented wrestler, right? That's her whole character. You know, and she has respect for Io Shirai. So moving on here, like, because they are a makeshift tag team.
Yeah.
I do not want them to actually take the titles from an actual tag team.
That's true. But of course, they've already gone through a lot of tag teams, like in terms of competitors. So there's not really much else unless they create new tag teams for the women. True.
I mean, they still have yeah, we don't want to rehash the who and who.
Amber and Shotzi.
But Raquel and Dakota, they've been like saying, hey, we want the titles as well. Raquel wants 2 titles, you know? So that could be the next thing. There's Aaliyah and whoever, the worst manager in the history of NXT, Robert Stone and his 2 girls. There's that. There's Katie Catanzaro and Casey Catanzaro and the other girl whose name I always forget.
You know what? I don't.
Okay, well, there you go. Like,
that's terrible.
I feel like this is the setup for Io Shirai versus Zoe Stark. That's what I feel.
Who will be the heel then?
Io Shirai. I think she's better as a heel anyway. Right now, as a face, she's bland.
Turn her back into a badass heel.
Yeah, like slightly unhinged heel, and Zoe Stark can be that plucky newcomer that almost gets the victory, you know?
Yeah. Speaking of Chinese female heels, do you see what Xia Li did to Mercedes Martinez?
Oh yeah, she knocked her block off. She gave her a concussion.
What the fish? Yes, yeah.
Oh dear. I hope. Well, first of all, I hope Mercedes Martinez is all right.
Yeah.
And I don't know where this. And where's the Tian Sha, like this Mei Ling? Like, is she ever gonna wrestle?
I have no idea, bro. Okay, like I said, this have more twists and turns than a Marvel movie. So
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea what's gonna happen with Tian
Bro,
Sha.
don't even compare to a Marvel movie. Marvel movie, at least at the end, there's a resolution. When I look at this, I'm like, there's no fucking resolution. And you know how like a Marvel movies, there are theories based on the past. They ain't got no fucking theories. Nobody at this point, I don't give a flying fuck about Tian Sha. Like, Mei Ling has done jack all. Boa is useless. Xia Li is the only one who wrestles, but even her wrestling is meh. So like, I'm done with Tian Sha.
The problem is they did such a good re-debut, right?
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that they did a re-debut without any thought in mind about where is this character gonna go.
Yeah, it just looks cool only.
But now they're just buying time. I don't know what they're buying time for.
Yeah, exactly. Are they buying time for somebody? Like, why, like at the Great American Bash, are we not saying Mei Ling versus Mercedes?
Yeah, that should be the next thing that should happen.
Yeah, or like,
or Xia Li has a return match with Mercedes, and actually that should have been what happened at the previous NXT takeover.
yeah. So it's just really weird. I'm like, I don't know. That's why I say, like, please do not put the new Chinese superstars into Tian Sha, because that is just a mistake.
They're just lazy.
Yeah, yeah, it's super lazy.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on then. The Way retains.
Yes, the way retain. They should retain.
The Way retains, and Io and Zoe, they blame each other for the loss. They can go and feud. Ta-da! There you go. Moving on. I actually like this match. It's like your grizzled, like literally grizzled veterans versus the new, like, cool, hip and happening tag team. It's MSK versus Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher.
I was sold on this match, right? The moment Ciampa kissed the guy.
Yes. Like, I love that promo. Like, he like literally was cheek to cheek, right? Cheek to cheek. Dun, dun, dun. But no, like, Tommaso is at that point. It's like, okay, your Adam Cole, Tommaso Ciampa, and Johnny Gargano. They're like the pillars of NXT, where they'll go in and out of the main event scene while trying to push other people. But anytime they get reinserted, it makes sense.
Didn't Ciampa say, like, in an interview that he never wants to leave NXT?
Okay, well, I mean, you know, I actually kind of wish he would have a run on Raw, because I think he'd be so badass. Like, his character is so, like, you buy everything about him, his presentation. You know what I mean?
But obviously, my fear is obviously that the ones that write for Raw don't really watch NXT.
Yeah, that's true. And then they will just make him some lame idiot.
They will make him like a majority of NXT call-ups has been shit. Let's just admit that, right?
Yeah.
So like, I there is some evidence, there is some validity in Ciampa wanting to stay in NXT to keep his character the way it is.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that cheek to cheek promo was fantastic. Chef's kiss, you know, Timothy just stand there, smile, toothless Timmy, like, okay, fine, you know,
Toothless aggression.
Oh my god.
Yes, I know. Do you know what I'm referring to? But yeah, I mean, same.
The man that doesn't exist in WWE history.
The real invisible man.
But yeah, like, this is your veterans versus new upstart team thing, right? Oh, we'll teach you respect, and then the other side will earn your respect. So I expect this to be the highlight of the night. Actually, I think this might be the best match of the night.
Interesting.
Because we have high flyers versus like real brawly but technicians as well.
In a very weird way, in a very twist of fate, it's almost like a rematch of DIY versus the Revival.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah. That's a great way of putting it. So, it might not be time to take the titles off MSK yet, because I feel like they haven't had a proper run. Yeah.
And also, like I said, MSK, and I've talked about it before, MSK has this problem that Street Profits have.
Yeah. New Day, almost.
Private Party, whatever it is, like, they are just copy paste high flying tag team number 24.
Yeah, high flying in the know sort of hip cool kid tag teams.
Yeah.
So
so there's too many of them. Like, they need to have a Cameron Grimes tag team. Like, you know what I mean? Like, a character that is so over the top, so memorable, because there's too much of the same shit.
Well, I feel like this match is to give them the grittiness. Like, have them survive this just brutal fight with Tommaso Ciampa and Toothless Timmy. And this is what will make them.
If Ciampa and Thatcher do a run on the main roster, they will give a lot of tag teams a run for their money.
Oh, yeah. And I think it would, like, visually, it would look really, really good in terms of the presentation because they're actually quite unique if you think about it.
Yeah, they are.
But
They
we know that
are-
the main roster doesn't give two hoots about the tag team titles, so
Yeah, I mean, and also the problem is they lack the charisma, personality. I mean, of course, Ciampa can carry it,
yeah.
but Thatcher is just a very nondescript wrestler. He's like, Oni Lorcan like that.
Yeah. Like, no, lah, but see,
just there.
but it's because you have Tommaso Ciampa, Timothy Thatcher can literally be the guy at the back grinning and like menacingly, you know? That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
That works. Okay, so MSK retains?
MSK, it will be very hard fought,
Yeah.
but I think MSK might just age it out.
Yeah. Tommaso and Timmy need to make MSK in this one. They are there to lend the young boys the credibility, make them gritty. So this is the moment.
Yeah. And also, like I said, like this is like the biggest step to MSK's like title reign so far.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're gonna lose at the first hurdle, that's just gonna devalue everything that they've done up to this point.
Exactly. And I don't think they're going to kill their momentum like that.
Yeah.
So, okay, then we move on to the main event, I suppose. Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole in a normal wrestling match.
You brought up this point much earlier just now.
Yep.
It's almost like a ass backwards feud. Unfortunately, in my opinion, it has run its course. It is basically at the point where Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley is, you know.
Yeah, they fought for the upteenth. Well, then again, this is their second meeting. Like, I don't know why, but it just feels like they've met so many times.
No, because they have been together. If you consider Undisputed Era, like they just have been in with each other on the screen for such a long time.
Yeah.
Everything kind of blends in together, you know.
Yeah, visually it's like, oh, we've seen this combination, even though they are now fighting against each other, right?
Yeah, so it's the same. It's the same if you think about it as when Gargano and Ciampa had the whole rivalry as a tag team, and then they went to singles. You just want to see them together on the same screen anymore.
Okay, but I feel differently because like with DIY and then they turned on each other, like they had an escalation of matches. Right? I guess they followed the quote unquote the formula. You know, they started out wrestling match, then they moved on to street fight, then last chance street fight or whatever it was like, and those were all epics, right? But yeah, Kyle and Adam already had their horrible fight where like they both were stretched it out and all that shit. And then you thought, okay, that was the end of the feud. But we got one more round, and this time in a normal wrestling match. Like, what? So somebody could get counted out? Like, how anticlimactic? At least put them in a cage.
And problem with this feud is, right, Adam Cole lost one of the most important components of his presentation.
What?
His UE song lah.
Oh, yeah.
The whole Adam Cole baby, like now that is like different.
Yeah.
It's not the same anymore, bro. That's one thing. Secondly, Kyle O'Reilly has always been bland. like we know, okay, he can wrestle. He's a great BJJ guy, but like he's bland.
Yeah, he's super bland.
He looked like some guy from fucking like what do you call it? What's that? Mumford and Sons. Like that, you know?
The jean vest doesn't work. Doesn't make you any more charismatic. You know, like freaking look at Adam Cole. He looks like he looks like a office worker. He looks like some guy who would be serving you at a Dairy Queen. Okay.
Yeah.
But the second he gets on the mic, it's like, oh, okay, like okay, I see, like he shines, right?
Kyle O'Reilly, he looks like a lumberjack right now. When he wrestles, it's cool, but it's okay. Here's what I learned, right, in all my years watching wrestling.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you are a great like wrestler between the ropes, but if you don't have the personality, you don't showcase the larger than life, like what makes you good enough to be a compelling character on TV.
Oh, I think we lost Foreign for a second. Look at your beautiful face, just frozen in the moment right there. Okay, we got you back. Foreign, are you
good?
in
Yes.
the build? Yes, we're good. Okay, go.
Okay. Okay, it's still very slow. Give me a minute.
Okay, still a little internet connectivity issues. If you're listening to the podcast right now, just bear with us for
Okay, can
3 seconds. There you go. Okay.
I'll try to weather this storm and try to continue talking.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, the point I was trying to make is what makes a wrestler a compelling star. It's not, you can't just rely on their wrestling.
Yeah.
If you just rely on their wrestling, you will just be a Chris Benoit, you know.
You'll be a Lance Storm.
Or a Lance Storm, yeah. But what put Daniel Bryan, for example, over the top? He had the yes movement. He had that character personality. Kyle O'Reilly doesn't have that yet. Doesn't have that connection with the crowd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of people say, oh, Tommaso and Johnny Gargano are such great, in-ring workers, right? But look at them and their characters now. Like Johnny Wrestling, for example, he's taken this whole baby face thing, and then he's now this heel with his family. Like you can tell, like, okay, the guy has more than just in between the ropes, the skills. Dude is really good at his character, at his mic work, everything. So yeah, you're right. It's that total package that Kyle is, kind of like he needs to work on it right now. Like to me, my favorite guy in NXT right now actually is Tommaso Ciampa. He has the whole thing, everything, the look, the promo, the in-ring.
Except for that one weird time where he grew out his hair.
Oh yeah, that one, like what, he was trying something new. We get it. Okay, fine. For 1-2 weeks after that, it's like, okay, no, shave your head bald. You look way more menacing.
Yeah, keep that shave head. Don't look like Kane. Okay.
The corporate Kane, right? No, that one cannot.
Or like Kane where he just unmasked for like a good, I don't know, that weird ass hair that hanging out, half hair hanging out. Nah, that's not good.
Okay, so the question is, how can we make Kyle O'Reilly stand out or be, to capture our imagination? Maybe one day as a champion, like a main champion. How can we get him there?
I need to get to know him more. Like he needs to, I don't know, do more interviews or like do more longer monologues. I think what make that will be a very risky thing, knowing that whether he can pull it off is one thing, but like how Mankind transitioned and became much more popular was when he did those sit down interviews with JR.
Wow, yes.
Yeah, so we just need to find a way to get to know him. Bret Hart is not the most compelling guy on promos as well, but something about him like start to connect when we learn more about Bret Hart's family, about his dynamic. Yeah, we need to make Kyle O'Reilly more compelling.
And Adam Cole, like I don't know if he's let go a bit. I hate saying that. It happens. But does he look more like frumpy to you?
What, like a bit chunky Cole?
Not say chunky, but he been hitting the gym less. I don't know. While Britt Baker is like going up, he's going down.
I can't comment on that. I'm the last guy that will comment on
I know,
another person's figure.
I know, but I feel like he's on cruise control.
Yeah.
Right now.
Okay, you know what? He basically looks like Edge before he retired. When Edge before he retired, he just don't give a shit about his body.
Yeah, a little bit. So I mean, it's gonna be a great match no matter what, right? But it's just where do we go from here? And also, interestingly enough, there's no NXT title match. Maybe they're saving it for the pay-per-view. But it looks like Johnny Gargano has turned face now. Because
why?
It's interesting because I think the NXT audience has turned on Karrion Kross. Like he was already like a not so obvious face or heel, but now when you listen to the NXT crowd, right, they are booing Kross and they are cheering for Gargano. So I think like they're slowly trying to turn Gargano face because he's been so entertaining, and it's always happened like this, right? They turn heel, they do heelish things, but it's entertaining, like comedic heel shit, and then people like them. So I feel like the way, especially the dynamic between Gargano and Austin Theory is quite entertaining, and people enjoy it. So now they're cheering them.
And of course, we all like kind of know the flaws of Karrion Kross. So I think Karrion Kross needs to perform more in front of a live audience to really gauge where he is at.
Okay, he is one example of someone who should be on the mic less and just be a badass. And try not to act. Because,
one thing I don't understand is why is Scarlett not on the mic more?
Yeah. She's literally his like valet now, like Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah, she just turns up and just looks hot, and I don't know, but it's such a waste of a character because I've seen her when she was on Impact, and she's a great promo. She is a great promo. She gives me who or not. She gives me sensational Sherry vibes.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's too distracting. Maybe they don't want to take away the limelight from Karrion Kross, who needs it right now. Like, obviously, to me, they are putting him against Johnny Gargano now is to put him over. Give him another high-profile win, right?
You know what I think this is going to end up being?
What?
This is going to be a Mark Mero Sable situation.
Oh, God.
You know, okay, bro, and this is something that Jim Cornette also said when I was listening to his podcast. When you look at Karrion Kross and Scarlett, right, who are you going to check out first?
Of course, Scarlett lah.
Yeah, but it's not just because of looks or what, you know.
Yeah.
I honestly think that Scarlett is just a walking like charisma. You know, like I am very intrigued to hear what she says, even though she doesn't say anything. So I think what WWE is trying to do is that you're saying like they're trying to hold Scarlett back.
Yep.
But I feel like if you push Scarlett, give her the opportunity, and she's gonna shine so much, almost by a byproduct, right? Karrion Kross might come across more of a star.
You know, that's a very good point that you brought up. Like when you see the two of them, like in terms of the X factor, yeah, Scarlett is definitely more intriguing, right? Yeah. And but I mean, like Karrion Kross, what is he? Like he's just your typical yelling brute. That's it. Like
I prefer her when he was the harbinger of doom, the end is near guy.
He needs to take a few lessons from Jake the Snake and just, instead of yelling, freaking speak in a very low voice and just be menacing as fuck, because I think he can pull it off. Right now, he's just like trying to be intense, but he looks like he's constipated. You know, something about the look doesn't work anymore or never worked to begin with.
Do you know what was compelling? There was this one episode that I found that he was really, really, really menacing, and I really liked it. That one episode where Edge appeared in NXT. Remember that?
Yeah.
I felt like when he went face to face with Edge, he had this aura about him that even Edge felt threatened. Like, oh, this might be an interesting matchup if he ever considered going to NXT.
I don't remember that. Did he say something? Like, what was it about that confrontation that made him stand out?
Okay, so Edge was challenging. He was hyping up the match between Pete Dunne and Finn Balor. Remember at that point in time?
Yeah.
Like he said, it would be an honor to fight either one of these two. And then there was a later segment where he was walking out in a parking lot, and then Karrion Kross stopped him and like went face to face with him and said that you shouldn't be worrying about between the two of them, because I will be the one that is gonna be the champion come the end of Takeover. Because I think that was a point where I think Karrion Kross was guaranteed a match between the winner between those two. Yeah. So, and I think the way Karrion Kross like conducted himself and like you said, like he spoke in a menacing tone. He was almost like low growl, threatening. Yeah. Like if you come and decide to come to NXT, you're gonna end up retired again. Something along those lines. And I like that.
I mean, the promo stuff, right? Like we talked about it before. Like the second you put him in a promo against Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, he just looks like an egg. Speaking of that, is there anything about his presentation that we could change? Like, I don't know. For all his size and build, for whatever reason, he just doesn't look menacing.
And don't put him in those like Tarzan trunks. That's one.
Should he have face paint?
No. Keep him classic. Keep him looking classic. Like really, actually, how he looked when he first debuted was really good. Just the whole like doomsday thing and all that. But he can just stand there, be quiet and menacing, have like one or two lines. He can be like Roman Reigns. But the one that does most of the talking, I want it to be Scarlett.
Yes. Okay, well, we'll have to wait and see, I guess. And then at some point, he can turn on her and get major heat because she got more popular than him.
Yeah, I want him to even do like more of the backstage vignettes where it's like those like film promos, like how Darby Allin does it.
Yeah.
Make it like very cinematic kind of shit, and then like those promos are cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're talking about a guy who's not on this card.
Yeah, okay, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah, we'll probably see like backstage stuff with him and the Way, since they're feuding right now. You know, they're sneak attacking each other, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Do you want to skip and talk about AEW?
Sure. Let's jump to AEW Road Rager. I care about this even less.
Yes. Let's just talk about what's the most compelling that you see then.
Okay, well, it's not Orange Cassidy and Chris Statlander versus the Blade and the Bunny.
Okay, for sure. No.
It's just a Dynamite. It's just another Dynamite, but they're on the road. So, you know, there you go.
What is the headline there? What is the main event?
I don't know if it's the main event. I'm just looking at a list right now. But okay, let me run down the card for you. Jake Hager, Santana, and Ortiz versus Wardlow, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood, 6-man tag. So that's an extension of the feud that's supposed to have ended already.
Okay.
I'm actually quite like pineapple, yeah, whatever. The promo was quite funny. Andrade said he wanted to fight that Matt guy, Matt whatever. Like he's trying to put him down. Like I don't even know his last name. But,
yeah.
And Andrade versus Matt Sydal. The thing is, we know exactly what's gonna happen here.
I mean, it's gonna be a great match if on paper.
Yeah. But as far as a wrestling fan, you're like, of course Andrade is gonna win lah. Unless they really want to swerve us and Matt Sydal pull off the shock win on the debut, but it'll just make Andrade look like shit, right?
No. He's gonna win. It's just that how great is he gonna look in victory? That's the question.
Like, is it gonna be a squash? But this is AEW. That's not gonna happen. They're gonna have like a 30-minute classic.
Yeah,
like,
they don't do squashes in AEW.
It's their 30-minute classic, and then there's nowhere else we can go with that. So yeah,
everything is a squash.
Young Bucks versus Eddie Kingston and Penta for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. So it's like a proper tag team versus one half of a different tag team. You know what I mean? Because Young Bucks, Eddie Kingston is supposed to be with John Moxley. Penta is supposed to be with Ray Phoenix, but their partners are injured or off being a dad, so they became a tag team.
Yeah, interesting. Like, well, they won the number one tag team contendership like this past week.
I don't know how they got the shot. Why them? Shouldn't it be Penta and Pac because they're in the Death Triangle?
I have no idea what happened to Pac. Ever since Double or Nothing, he's been gone.
Why does Pac like come show up, leave? Like, okay, I don't know if it's him. He is some sort of contract thing, some sort of health or injury issue, but we wonder, okay, why isn't Pac in a more prominent role? This is why. You can never build anything with him because he's hardly ever around. Yeah,
he's like the absentee dad that just comes out when it's convenient.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't build anything around him. So like, WWE or whatever AEW is not pushing Pac. No. He isn't around enough to be pushed in any prominent way.
Yeah. You should tell Pac, your children needs your attention and love.
Yeah,
come and build a relationship with us. If not, we don't care.
Yeah. Eddie and Penta, like, okay, are they going to win the titles? I think not. It's just a good matchup to have, I guess, because all of them have history.
That's true. But you know what? I will try to enjoy the match as it is. There's obviously gonna be the high flying shit from Young Bucks. There's gonna be Miero, kind of Ciero Bodo.
Eddie is going to somehow swan WWE at some point. Like
you saw what he said.
Yeah,
right? After
okay, whatever.
But do you hear the response from Bully Ray?
Oh yeah, I read like what the quote of what he said.
Yeah, he just basically telling you just shut the fuck up and stay in your lane.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like honestly, it seems like a throwaway match. Like okay, it's gonna be a fun match, but no stakes, no consequences.
Yeah. Okay, what else is there?
Okay, that was the co-main event already.
And what is
main event? Are you ready?
Yes, I am. Go.
So this is the very reason why when you tell me about Road Rage, they're gonna be in front of fans, I'm like, okay, whatever. Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall in a strap match.
No wonder you didn't like this card. Of course, Cody Rhodes is gonna be the main event on the first show back with fans. He is the hero of the crowd.
I don't even want to talk. You tell me why anyone gives a flying fuck about this match. No, seriously, give me a reason to care about Cody Rhodes versus Cody Marshall in a strap match.
First of all, the father of the first ever mixed child in American history. He needs a great return in front of friends. Okay, you know what? I'm not curious. I don't care about the match. I'm curious to see what happens at the end of the match.
Yeah, sure. Okay, it's the Nightmare Family versus the Factory. I get it. Okay.
I have an even better proposition.
Yeah.
Okay, the only thing that will make this match worthwhile, right? If, and this is a very big if, because I don't know, there's a lot of Cody Rhodes dick suckers out there. If the crowd actually turns on Cody Rhodes, if the crowd is actually as annoyed as with us, like we are towards Cody Rhodes, and actually shit on him, and this might actually make him like a clear and obvious heel.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like if the crowd, but I mean, their audience, the AEW crowd, is fully drinking the Kool-Aid. I feel like that's not good. They're going to cheer him like he's the friggin', the wrestling god and messiah, whatever. And yeah, it's QT Marshall in the main event.
Holy shit. Talk about nepotism. I mean, it's not really nepotism, but it's like literally
my friend, friend, come.
I feel like I'm like a Raswa, taking Raswa from my government. They're like, hey, you are my brother, right? Come, I put you in charge, CEO of this company. Come,
Okay.
my friend, what?
Okay, to be fair, maybe that's not the main event because apparently MJF and Chris Jericho will come face to face, whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah, what the hell? Are they gonna have a debate? Are they gonna have a talk?
It's a promo lah. Maybe that will wrap up the show to give like the giant send home pop where Chris Jericho humiliates MJF in some way. You know what I mean? So that I can see. And maybe, okay, what if Cody finally gives one win to QT Marshall? Like, you want to put over QT? Fucking have all the shenanigans in the world. Agogo, all the factory fans, the Nightmare family, all fight. Big, schmoz, and somehow QT's like smacks him, and then he wins.
Yeah, you know what? I can't even be bothered to be excited about it.
What if Brandy Rhodes comes out and turns on Cody?
The baby turns on the father.
Oh yeah. She comes out. The father is QT Marshall. Bro,
holy shit.
Bro,
Vince,
this is again. Vince Russo booking. Book it. That's the only way I would be interested in this nonsense.
Or for some reason, Paul White or Mark Henry or Christian or one of the whatever old timer WWE guys who went to AEW do some sort of run in and like kill him. Then maybe that might be something interesting.
So we set up a feud between Cody and whoever.
Yeah.
And then QT gets his push.
If Road Rager is literally a way for them to surprise the fans and get them back on track, they need something big.
Yeah.
What if, right, this is just it's almost like a mirror. It's just almost like red herring. Like they make it so boring. And then it actually blindsides everyone by having a debut. Could be.
Somehow I think Cody's ego is too big. So I don't know lah. Yeah, this is like I said, AEW was hot for a while. To me, it's cooled down right now. Like the last 2 episodes of Dynamite have been a bit of a drag.
Yeah. What is interesting is if you watch this past week's Dynamite, right, where Kenny Omega went out and said like, who is there to fight? Who is there for me to fight? And then the Dark Order came out.
Oh yeah. And then
you literally can hear the crowd chanting for cowboy shit.
Yeah. No, and this is what I enjoyed. I enjoyed Hangman's reaction. Like he kind of didn't want to. He's like that reluctant guy that he doesn't want to take out the mental of the hero. The reluctant hero. Yeah. So I actually, let's focus on the positives. That to me is something that they're building to. They are giving it a slow burn, which is great. Keep giving it a slow burn. Don't like force it on us suddenly, Like, next week on Dynamite, Hangman versus Omega. Like what? No. Save that for a pay-per-view.
You know that this is building to All Out.
Yeah.
All Out is on 1st or 2nd September of this year.
Yeah.
2 years to the day that the first ever AEW champion was crowned between Chris Jericho and Hangman. Remember that? And all of us thought that Hangman was too soon for him to be champion.
Yeah.
So I think this is a perfect story that 2 years later, he finally takes up his rightful heir as the main guy and like takes these 2 months, right? Because we have the whole of July, we have the whole of August.
Yeah.
Make him from that reluctant hero to when he finally get his crown. What, bro? It's the most timeless story ever told. Like how Sam from the Falcon and Winter Soldier, he finally, by the end of the series, finally accepts his role as Captain America. At first, there was a bit of reluctance.
Spoiler alert.
Bro.
If you haven't watched, it's been a while.
It's been 3 months, okay? Another great story. Aragorn from Lord of the Rings.
Wow, piang. Okay, yeah.
I went old school right there. Like, he started off as this reluctant, like a ranger. He doesn't even want to take his rightful heir as like the king of Gondor. But towards the end of 3 movies, he finally accepts. I believe Hangman he got that vibes now. Everyone wants him to succeed, but except he himself having those doubts.
And where they've positioned Kenny Omega with his Don Callis, his little group of hitman, whatever, like it works. It really does work. So we'll probably see Kenny Omega beat up a lot of Dark Order members one by one, just to get to finally the show off Hangman. Yeah. So they should not fucking fight before then. They should not have a match.
You know what will be the final straw that break the camel's back and make Hangman Page challenge for the title?
What?
So he Kenny Omega one by one beats up and like attacks and injures all the Dark Order members, right?
Yeah.
Until finally, bro, he kidnaps Brody Lee's son.
Oh no.
Custody of Dominic.
Oh my god. Actually, I wasn't so far off in what I was thinking. Like, yeah, the story is right there, right?
It's just right there, yeah.
Like, I don't know how that would be because, Brody Lee passed away and everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they should involve -1, I guess is his name. But
to make it even more sinister, bro, okay, obviously, like, don't expect him to act in front of the crowd, lah.
he cannot, lah. Yeah.
But if he can do what Eddie Guerrero did, and remember they shoot those vignettes when they went to the playground,
brainwash him.
Come to Papi. Papi got a story. I think Kenny Omega can pull it off, bro.
Ooh.
Kenny Omega with that sadistic Lemmy mutton chops now that he's sporting.
It could be a controversial storyline. It could work. It's just it boils down to if the mother is comfortable with that, lah. With the passing of Brody Lee and everything. But I mean, hey, if they can go with it and do a compelling storyline, I think I agree, lah. They can do it, lah.
They can do it, and I think why it will work is because obviously he already signed a lifetime contract. He already said that he will be a wrestler in AEW once he turns 18. Yeah. So why not give him a bit of an early experience? Like, okay, as a young kid, something for him to look back once he become like Dominic Mysterio. He can look back when he was young. Oh, I did this segment on national TV for the world title. Be part of it in the middle of it. And that's the whole point about pushing the envelope. And if it's done in a very tasteful way, obviously try not to reference Brody Lee dying and shit lah. Yeah. Just make it's basically about him as a family member. He's like the head of the Dark Order, having all his Dark Order brethren getting wiped out by this crazy ass elite crew. And then Hangman is like, they can also tie in the story about how Hangman left the elite. And he found new family in the Dark Order, and now he wants to protect his new family. I mean, it's a story,
bro. It's family. Why are you in space? You don't mess with family. Hey, this could be a very timely feud. Okay, family with with family being the main theme.
I just remembered that one WWE writer that just got fired because she doesn't know shit about wrestling. Yeah. Remember that girl? She did a podcast interview, and because we hired this writer who was a comedy writer, but she's never watched wrestling at all, and she admitted it on a podcast, and she said she doesn't even know who's the current champion on Raw is. She was like some Lashley guy.
Oh my god!
And obviously, like, the crowd, the fans just went crazy, and WWE fired her. But the problem is that WWE has had experience hiring writers who doesn't know shit about the product.
Yeah.
But what I feel like from the way we've been booking and fantasy booking this kind of shit, how excited we are and coming up with all these stories, right?
Yeah.
Come on, man. And I tell you, hopefully those people who are going to be on the chat, like reading this or listening to us, like, tell me there's a better story that you guys can come up with as a title feud. Come on.
Right. No. I mean, the foundation has been laid already. But whether you want to say that they've been slow burning or they've had long-term booking, honestly, I don't think they have. I think it's just been there, and it's just a thing that they're okay. Let's finally pick this up. So I know a lot of like AEW nut huggers are gonna be like, oh yeah, AEW has long-term storytelling. No. They're doing the same shit WWE is doing. Okay, they're just capitalizing on the situation and then dragging the backstory out. That's all they're doing.
I love Hangman Page. I think that he is. If you talk about a genuine star that actually has a look, I would say he has a better look than Darby Allin and even MJF, because I feel like he looks more like a rugged wrestler.
Yeah.
You know what? He actually gives me Bret Hart vibes in a very weird way. And I'm not trying to go for reach here, but I feel like one thing that made Bret Hart very likable, in my opinion, and you as a Bret Hart fan, tell me if you agree, he felt like a very reluctant leader of his family. She didn't want to be the guy that take out the mentor and become the number one hard family guy. But somehow circumstances made him rise to that top.
Yeah.
And then when he finally embraced it, he became the champion and he became this very responsible champion.
Yeah.
And I love it. He always wanted to be Stu Hart's kid. He didn't want to be like, he didn't give off like Bruce Hart or like Owen Hart. Like, I want to be the main guy.
Like you said, like the reluctant hero story. So, one of the bright spots in AEW to look forward to as we move to All Out. So there you go. That's the two, I guess themed shows that are coming up on AEW on NXT. Some things to look forward to, some things that we don't really give a fuck about. Strap match, Cutie Marshall.
Of course, looking ahead, like in the next couple of weeks, we are on the road to Money in the Bank.
Yep, Money in the Bank. That's gonna be fun. Actually, who are the contestants in Money in the Bank? Let me just very quickly Google. Oh, okay, off the top of my head, Jomo is in.
Ricochet is in.
Okay. You know why Ricochet is there, right? He's there to do all the fancy, crazy moves. But do you really think he's gonna win?
It's very interesting because SmackDown has shown their hand by all the wrestlers that they have. They really basically qualify all the wrestlers on SmackDown. Yeah. But Raw only got like a few wrestlers.
Hey, no. All the entire field has been already?
Officially, right? No, as in only this past week then they fill up, but SmackDown off the bat had everyone. So like they already have obviously this past week they had a last man standing match on SmackDown.
No, you mean SmackDown. SmackDown, they are still qualifying people. Raw is all set already.
Okay, sorry, my mistake. So Jomo, Ricochet.
Yeah, Jomo, Ricochet, Matt Riddle, Drew McIntyre.
4, yes.
So on the SmackDown side, Big E, Kevin Owens, Cesaro or Seth Rollins, Nakamura or Corbin.
What do you like about the field this year?
A lot of
why you don't like
a lot of wild cards. I actually like everybody literally, well, except for Ricochet. Unfortunately, I feel so bad saying that, right? But everybody except for Ricochet like has a legit chance. Like John Morrison, way overdue, right?
Yep.
And he's arguably one of the more underrated like performers right now, as in people low-key love his bullshit, like his Johnny drip nonsense, the drip stick, and he's just funny. Like I want to see him there.
Yeah, I need to make a case for Riddle. Riddle has won me over. I mean, there was a part where he was a bit too over, too like nonsense. But then ever since like he has been with Randy, I think he has been carrying the load, bro. In terms of the charisma.
In fact, Randy, all he does is just react like stern
Randy,
looks.
It's almost as if Randy, I think behind the scenes, he's really coaching Riddle. But in terms of in front of the screen, like he's letting Riddle shine, and I just lost it when I saw the letter.
Then it's like the little brother lah.
On brand, very on
brand. So here's the thing: if Riddle wins, and we all know the potential that Matt Riddle has, right? But if Riddle wins, imagine him as Money in Bank holder with Randy Orton in his ear. Like, you know what I mean?
As much as I enjoy if like he goes and becomes a champion thanks to Randy's coaching, imagine the feud and rivalry that will happen when eventually when Randy like turns on Riddle.
And it's happening. It's gonna happen. And they could, like, Randy could use the opportunity, like if Riddle wins, he could somehow psycho Riddle into giving him the Money in the Bank briefcase. You know what I mean?
Or a title opportunity once he becomes champion.
Yeah, so there are a lot of stories to be told there already, and this catapults Riddle all the way to the main event scene. Okay, then we have Drew McIntyre. Unfortunately, he's the most boring choice to win here because we've seen this shit before.
In a way, I feel like Drew being in the match is just to give it a bit of star power.
Yeah, because he was the last champion, right?
I hope he doesn't win, and I hope he slides down the card and have like a blood feud with either Sheamus or like somebody else on the roster, but he's not in the title picture. I think he needs a break. And I'm saying as a fan, I love him and I don't want to turn on him like some fans are doing.
No, I 100% agree with you. Like you can't have him at the top. He's been at the top, and he was at the top in arguably the worst period in recent memory for pro wrestling, right? But he held the title and he basically held the company up. So I think that he will get another title round, but it will be a few years down the road, maybe, or a year down the road.
Even though I understand, like, how fans are a bit bored by him, I don't mind him turning as a heel, but like very Bret Hart, like how when Bret Hart got sick of how the fans mistreated him.
Yeah.
And I think if following the story of Drew McIntyre, it's very valid, right? That he turns heel because he can say all those things like, I carried the company through the pandemic. You guys don't appreciate me. I'm gonna show you how much of a killer I am. I'm gonna take down all those people that you love, lah.
Bro, there's no Scotland versus US view.
No. We are not AEW where we're gonna have a fictional feud between UK
Countries.
and America.
Okay, so yeah, I think a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, let's not see Drew win this. Big E, this could be his opportunity finally to get that push, right?
Yep. I'm always holding out on a Big E Roman Reigns feud. I think they will have great matches together.
Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens is like, to me, in the Drew McIntyre boat. I think he's great for the star power.
Yeah, but been there already.
Been there, and I feel like he has kind of slipped down the card where I think he should give other people a chance.
Yeah.
At the top.
Cesaro or Seth Rollins.
Cesaro needs to win. He needs to win. Okay, he needs to win against Seth Rollins and be in the match one.
Yeah.
If he's in the match, honestly, if he wins this whole Money in the Bank, I would love that as well.
Yeah.
I would love that, but I wouldn't want him to challenge Roman Reigns because we know he's not gonna win.
Yeah. So Cesaro versus Bobby Lashley.
Or if Bobby Lashley's not champion by then, I hope Cesaro, I don't know, challenges the other guy who is not Roman Reigns.
Oh, okay. Brock Lesnar, no. Who knows?
Nah.
Huh? Okay, King Nakamura and the new Baron Corbin, the dejected down on his luck Corbin.
I like Nakamura more, obviously. But okay, certain things I like about this new gimmick or run of him as a champion, right? A lot of people who are longtime fans of Nakamura knows that he had a run as the King of Strong Style in New Japan, where he literally wore a crown as well in New Japan. Earlier this decade. So it is a good throwback. So some fans who know that will appreciate that. And I think I like his presentation with Rick Boots because I finally get it. There was this one promo that Rick Books did backstage that said that he basically told the interviewer, like, I don't mind being a court jester to the kingdom of Nakamura.
Right.
And that is basically his role. Like, Rick Books is just that court jester who is part of the presentation, and it just adds that more charisma to his presentation. So I think I'm fine with that.
Well, and not just that, freaking Pat McAfee losing his shit whenever that happens as well. They are really trying to pimp out, for lack of a better term, Nakamura and his appeal, right? So I don't know. Yeah, maybe this could be. Finally, they're like, okay, you know what? Let's give him a proper push.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Nakamura deserves at least another world title run. Come on. He never actually got a chance to become champion.
Yeah, but who's he going to take the title off? Roman Reigns? It's like nobody can stack up against Roman Reigns at this point, right?
Yeah. And I think WWE is having this problem where they can't be the Attitude Era anymore. It seems like they can't build multiple stars at the same time. It seems they can only focus on one star. But I feel like there's so many stars that is on the B tier list that can be number one if they just push them. If
they just pull the trigger on them lah. So which brings us to okay, we're not going to do a Money in the Bank freaking preview because I feel like we've stepped into that territory already. You know what I mean?
A bit too soon. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm looking forward to Money in the Bank because there's a lot of wild cards that is deserving of the championship.
Well, not just the males, the females as well. But the funny thing about the women, right? They didn't have qualifying matches because apparently they are not enough. Like, we all know that's not true. So why didn't they have qualifying matches?
Oh man, I mean that would be another topic we can talk about. I guess nearer when we preview Money in the Bank.
Yeah, it's like literally, okay, here are the participants. Like, huh? Meanwhile, the men are all having qualifying matches and shit like that. I'm like, wait a minute, your women's roster is big enough. Like, fine, you can throw in some randos, like, whatever, have squash matches and shit like that, but at least have them qualify.
Yeah. Oh, well, Women's Evolution be damned, so...
the fuck, bro? Okay, well, that's that. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. Like we said, if you're watching the premiere on YouTube, thank you for being here. Thank you for being in chat. If you're listening to us via, your podcasts and everything, well, hope you're having a great day.
I hope you guys please continue to support us on Instagram, on Facebook. Please listen to us on Spotify as well, on all the platforms because we need all the support that we can get. Hopefully, we can get more interviews down the road. We had some lined up, but we're still trying to make it work. Please continue joining us. Next week, bro, what do you want to do, man? I feel like we have a chance to do a watch along somewhere along the lines right before Money in the Bank.
Well, you know what? As always, follow us on our social media. We'll update you on our Insta stories and whatnot. And yeah, we'd love to do another watch along for sure.
I got an idea, bro.
What's that?
Money in the Bank coming up, right? 10-year anniversary to the day of John Cena versus CM Punk, and CM Punk running away with the title. Have you watched that match before, bro?
I feel like I have not, leh. It sounds vaguely unfamiliar to me.
Because, bro, remember you told me that you took a break from wrestling during this period when CM Punk was on top?
Yeah.
This was 10 years anniversary to the pipe bomb.
Wait. Oh, so wait, hold on. This is a Money in the Bank match. As in, like, it happened at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was the main event of Money in the Bank in 2011. It was in the hometown of Chicago.
Oh.
And this was the match where he won the title and he ran out and he let his contract run out.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I did not watch this live.
Bro, do you want to watch that as a watch along? Just that main event.
Yeah, sure. Let's watch that main event. I'm like, part of me wants to watch a Money in the Bank match, but I think that might be a bit too chaotic. So yeah, that main event, sure. Let's do it.
Bro, okay, let's do a poll, bro. How about, okay, my idea, we do a poll. Who wants us to watch a Cena and CM Punk WWE Championship, or have we ever done a watch along of the first ever Money in the Bank? I feel like we've done that.
Have we? No, I don't think we have. We did Royal Rumble, the first ever Royal Rumble.
I have this very vague memory that we did WrestleMania 21 Money in the Bank watch along.
I feel like we have not, but
we can double check, I guess.
Yeah, we'll double check.
But yeah, let's put a poll. We see which one our fans prefer, and then maybe we can do that next week.
Sure. Let's go. Right. Let's do it. Sounds good.
Right.
Sounds good. So, okay. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast, hanging out on the recorded live stream, I suppose.
Don't worry. We'll reply on the comments section.
And yeah, we'll be back the following Monday unless, work jumps in the way. That's why we're doing this week. But anyway, have yourselves a great week ahead. I'm going to be getting my second vaccine shot on Wednesday, so I might be out for the count. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. All the best,
brother. I just did my first one. Hopefully we get through this together.
Absolutely, we will. And if you haven't, go and get vaccinated, for goodness sakes.
Yes, indeed.
Stay safe, stay healthy. It's Mr. Young.
And it's 4 in the building. Take care.